All right, welcome into the Vegas Square Gambling Show here live on 12 Ounce Sports, as we are every Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Of course, midnight on the East Coast over there. But it's good news, guys. We have the Mush Deets back in the saddle here. We do not, unfortunately, have Sammy Action, although I think he might have wanted to tuck his tail and hide after the week he had last week. So maybe that's why he's not here. He says he has other commitments, but I don't know if I'm buying it. But the Mush is back. Deets is back. We thought you got lost trick-or-treating last week. So we were just curious as to any good candy just led you astray.
Yeah. No, I needed a week. It was a combination. I've been a little under the weather for quite a couple of weeks now. But that was no excuse. I was last Thursday, I couldn't get out of bed. That's a true story. But I was sick from, the bad flu and sick from my bets, just getting railroaded every which way. I just had to take a break. You got to take a step back every now and then. I bet, I bet all the sports and, football is one of my favorites to bet, but man, you just get kicked in the teeth time and time again. It just wears on you after a little while. So sometimes it's good to just take a step back, just not look at – I didn't even want to look at the games. I knew if I started doing research and looking, I'd talk myself into making bets. And I was like, I don't even want to go down that road. I just don't want to just a complete cleanse from and it helped that I literally couldn't get out of bed. So I took a little bit of a break. But we're back, we're – got scooped again tonight, so we're back in action.
The status quo remains the same.
Yeah.
But you know what? You brought up a good point here, though. Like, when things are going wrong, continuing to dig the ditch, it doesn't do you any favor. Sometimes you need to walk away from it. You and I in past lives have played poker for a living, so to speak. I don't ever like that professional poker player kind of moniker, but
definitely supplement income. Definitely
sure.
Playing for profit into supplement income. That's a
sure.
good word.
There we go. Supplemental poker player, that's what we'll call it. But your fans are happy to see you back, by the way. I put that on the screen there. So your fans are
the family's looking good as always. Nice.
Yeah. But like you said, it's a Deet stat, Hashtag Deet stat. If you're having a hard time and you feel like it's just all bearing around you, take a week off. I mean, let this be kind of a PSA. I don't mean, obviously we're not here to discourage degeneracy, because that's exactly what we do here. But if sometimes you just need to take a step back, and I think you did the right thing, and hopefully that will be good for this week. Yeah, cleanse, a detox, if you will.
Yeah, I love the degeneracy. I'm a big fan. I engulf myself in it. I live in Las Vegas. I work in the poker community. I submerge myself in gambling, and you go in any poker room around the country, and the number one topic of conversation amongst players and staff members is always the game that we're betting, the game, who you like tonight. And, so it's just, I love it. I love every aspect of it. And, that famous quote, the next best thing to gambling and winning is gambling and losing. But it's important. Like for me, it's not something, I don't bet outside my bankroll, but and that's why even when I'm making a bunch of little small bets and stuff like that, it's just the mental, if you shouldn't be betting outside your bankroll, betting anything you can't afford to lose anyways. But the mental anguish of just oh, how am I going to lose this one now? And just seeing it come into fruition again, just over and over and over again. It's frustrating. But that's, you got to look within yourself too. It's not just bad luck. You're making bad plays, bad decisions, maybe just taking things for the wrong reasons and jumping on things for the wrong reasons. And you got to reevaluate maybe how you're going about it along the way,
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that, because for me, the kind of driving force that made me quit really playing poker hardcore a lot was, you look down at queens, kings, or aces, and you're like, how the fuck am I going to lose with these right now?
Yeah. That was a time point for me. I remember one of the time I flopped a set, and I had been in the worst downswing of my life, and I'm like, oh, let's see what goes wrong here. And I knew I was going to lose a hand. I put all the money in when I flopped it. Knew I was going to lose a hand. I lost the hand. I just walked away. I was like, I need a break. That was the same type of thing. Like, how's it going to, when you start to ask yourself, how am I going to lose this one? You may not realize it while you're actually going through your decision making in real time, but it is affecting your decision making in any sort of gambling. Like, how am I going to lose this game? You're hurting your, if that's your mentality and how you're looking at things, you're already putting yourself up against it.
Behind.
Once you carry on that mentality. Excuse me.
Well, he's already leaving the show.
Sorry.
Well, cheers. It's happy to have you back. Bring on the dog, because I think we're betting dogs.
Yeah, this guy getting in my way. He's so big now. Well, cheers to you. Happy to be back. Happy to be back. Mushing everybody. I thought you guys were going to have the best week of your of the season with me gone. I'm
three straight winning weeks right here. Sam had a huge week. I mean, he went like 21-5 in your absence. It was insane.
No, I thought, he did good. I thought that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, this week we'll go over it here, and let's pay the bills here real quick. First and foremost, obviously, want to thank 12 Ounce Sports for putting all our dribble once a week here. If you guys are looking to check out the greatest sports network that's not named ESPN, as they're so proclaimed as the best sports network, but this is the up and coming sports network, 12 Ounce Sports. They've got live sports, they've got live shows. You can create your own show. You can host your own show if you're interested in getting into something like that. But visit them at 12ozsports.com. And, of course, MyBookie. We talk about all the DGen. MyBookie.ag. Promo code 12ozsports. All caps, no spaces, for the best deposit bonus. The first-time deposit bonus of up to $1,000. 12ozsports. All caps, no spaces with MyBookie.ag. It's down there below. It'll scroll across the screen for the entire show, so you'll see that if you're getting interested in signing up. And, of course, 12 Ounce has their own subscription service, $5.99 a month or $60 for the year. If you're tired of trying to weed through our plays to figure out where the winners are, you can just go with the guys who know how to do it. Philly Pete, the gamble guy, $60 for the year. It's a good deal. We're coming up into the equinox: college basketball, pro basketball, college football, pro football. We've got hockey on hockey's getting started. Baseball's on the horizon. A year subscription for $60, you can't beat it. All right.
This hockey you speak of? Never heard of it.
What's that?
What is this hockey you speak of? Never heard of it.
You should give it a shot. You should try it. It's real nice. But let's start with you. Obviously, last week 0-0. Year to date 56, 69 and 1. Piggy banks at 642. But it's hit the low. We're going to be on an upswing. Myself last week 8-5 plus $21. I made another stupid bet that really cut into my profits, but hey, a win's a win. We'll take it. We're up to 42 and 48 on the year with a piggy bank of $879. And yes, Sammy action, tuck your tail and hide. 3-11 last week, minus 132. Still above 50% in terms of betting at 58, 53, and 1 year to date. Piggy bank was up over 1,000. The only person who's been up over 1,000, but it is now down to $910. All right, let's talk college football, and we'll start with the playoff rankings and the bracket, so to speak, here, because the rankings don't match the bracket because of the new rules with the situation, the Power 4 situation here. But right now at the top of the actual rankings, Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Texas 3, Penn State 4, Indiana 5, BYU 6, 7 is Tennessee, 8 Notre Dame, 9 Miami, 10 Alabama, 11 Ole Miss, Georgia number 12, and of course 13 is Boise State, but we know that they are going to get in as the highest G5 contender. The bracket looks like Oregon, Texas, BYU, and Miami are the current top 4 seeds due to the Power 4 bye aspect of this, and that leaves Ohio State number 5, Texas 6, Ohio State number 5, Penn State 6, Indiana, and then Tennessee, Notre Dame, and you can see the rest as it gets filled in. And of course, Boise, number 12, leaving Georgia. 2-loss Georgia, 2 of the best losses if we're counting sexy losses, 2 of the best losses in college football right now. And because they've lost to the 2 teams that are literally directly ahead of them in Alabama and Ole Miss. And you and I and Sam have talked about this on text threads. We've talked about it on shows. And I'm in the class that I understand the SEC is big, bad, and mighty. But if you're a 3-loss SEC team, I'm ruling you out of the playoff. I think you're just out. I think you're out.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, it'll be tough. I mean, it'll be interesting. I kind of hope we see that if Alabama or Georgia loses one of these upcoming games here, put them in a real tough spot. Hopefully we don't. I not also on the flip side, I'd like to see BYU, Indiana, Colorado, Army make it difficult on them. I'd like to see them keep winning and make make them have to make a real decision. So. Keeping out a 1-loss or an undefeated group of 5 team for a 3-loss SEC team might be difficult. But I think it'll come down to 2, like how many, like if you got your Georgia or your Alabama sitting there at 3 losses and you got teams like for example, say Tennessee beats Georgia this week, Tennessee be 9-1, Georgia be 7-3. That would open the door for teams like Ole Miss, Alabama, possibly. Like if you get 3 SEC teams in there already, do you really need to put the 4th one in? Unless it's a team like Georgia and or Alabama. I don't know.
But we keep saying, like, with this committee, like, I understand Georgia got left out of the 14 playoff. They beat the brakes off Florida State. It showed that they were probably the best team. But at this point, a 3-loss SEC team, I'm sorry, if you're sitting there at like 12 and 14 and you get left out by all the default rules, I don't feel bad.
You've had your chances. You've had your chances at that point.
I get it. You've played the tougher competition. But if you feel that strongly that the SEC is going to be a dogfight every year, no one's forcing you to stay there. Go independent. Go to another conference. Obviously, they want to stay where the money's at. I mean, the SEC is the beaucoup dollars, and of course the Big Ten. But I mean, we're staring at a world where Indiana might be 11-1 with a loss to Ohio State, and they might be out of the playoff because potentially a 3-loss team is in.
I think where it will happen is if you get down the road here and say, I mean, I guess. Maybe a 2-loss Boise. I'm trying to look through the rankings here. Colorado's lost twice, but if they could win the Big 12 here, you got a team. Say Clemson runs. Say Clemson. There's a good example. Say Clemson wins out, and they end up with 2 losses. Georgia has 3 losses, and you're looking at the possibility of putting Clemson in or Georgia. That's an interesting because now you have a real debate. Georgia,
you got a head-to-head. You have a head-to-head victory.
And you got a team like Washington State here. You got I don't know, like I think Army. That's what I want to see. I want to see these group of 5 teams really put the screws to them. I want Army to keep winning. I want Boise State to keep winning. I want who's the other one? Well, BYU. I want them to keep winning and see what happens there. Notre Dame looks like they're probably going to be in. Miami, yeah, but yeah, let's see. I think. I don't think a 1-loss Indiana team, a 1-loss Big Ten team per se, that'd be a no-brainer. But if it's a 1-loss group of 5 team versus a 3-loss SEC team, that's where the questions will start to come in.
But I mean, if you look at it, you have Oregon, Ohio State, and Penn State. If Indiana is the 4th team theoretically in the Big Ten rankings, I mean, I know we're already, Sam's already saying we're putting 4 in from the Big Ten. We're putting 4 in from the SEC. We're putting 1 in from the other 2 conferences, ACC and Big 12, which SMU poses an interesting threat in that spot because if they go to the conference championship, beat Miami as a 2-loss Miami team out of the playoff, I don't know, probably. But, then you have, like you said, you have a situation where you have Alabama, Ole Miss, Georgia, Texas A&M, all have and even Tennessee, if Georgia beats Tennessee, all have a possibility of being 2-loss SEC. Like, I don't know if we've solved anything if we just put 6 SEC teams in.
No, that was supposed to be the point. Like, let a couple of these group of 5 teams, these lesser conference teams come in and try to make their noise, like kind of a la Boise, Oklahoma many years ago. That upset. I think they want to recreate those type of games. And that's the whole idea. We don't have to disclude these undefeated teams who play in weaker conferences. We can see what they have. We can let them play against the big dogs in a game that means something. So I think that's where the decision lies. Like, nobody wants to just see a mangled up two, like we're already on our way to two, but just the two power conferences. But like we just don't want to see. Again, I think if it's one loss where we can, that's fine. Like if you were so good that you just have one, like you got four teams and all of them have one loss, I think that's reasonable. But I think with the SEC side, what we're talking about here, with like 3-loss teams, multiple 2-loss teams and 3-loss teams, I think then you start to have to tip your hat to these lesser teams. And I got to admit, I think only one group of 5 team is guaranteed a spot, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Correct.
And then we'll have, is the Pac-12 and Big 12, they still get a team this year?
See, the Pac-12, I feel like it's a tough spot because the Big 12 gets a team and the ACC gets a team. So
ACC, yeah.
They're guaranteed to get one of the top 4 seeds. Their champions will get a bye, which you could argue that. I mean, it's going to be BYU or I would imagine Colorado at this point. So you have BYU, Kansas State, Colorado.
Well, so that'll be Colorado beats if BYU stays undefeated and loses to Colorado. Say Colorado and BYU win out, and then Colorado beats BYU in the Big 12 championship game. Now, in my opinion, you can't put a 3-loss SEC team in over BYU in that scenario.
Over a 1-loss team that played in a title game. If they didn't play in a title game, they're undefeated. And then you have a 3-loss potential SEC team that didn't play in a title game and gets rewarded. You're right. It's just such – I hate the fact that I feel like it's creating the Big Ten SEC Invitational. We just went from 4 teams to 12 teams. Like, if you want to capture college football again for the rest of the country, the BYU, the 1-loss BYU, a 1-loss SMU, these teams they have to make it in. You have to. And I understand, a 3-loss Alabama was going to roll the floor. Maybe. Let's play a game. And
Georgia, and I don't think you can say that about any Georgia at all this year, which is the team we're talking about. And Tennessee, they've got their issues. Ole Miss, Missouri, they've had their issues this year. So it's not like we're talking about leaving Texas off, who's looked the best by far of the SEC teams this year. So it's not like we're penalizing them. They've already lost their chances. The whole point of this playoffs is not to screw these kids over who play all year, win all their games, just play the teams in front of them. Give them a chance still. So I think I would like to hope at least that they would do the right thing and give it to the more deserving teams. So
yeah, I can't get down in a world of college football where a 1-loss team or an undefeated team will probably make it, no problem. I mean, Army's not going to make it, but I can't get down in a world where in a 4-team playoff, you had to be pretty much unblemished or even a quality loss to go to now a 3-loss team playing for national titles. I can't get.
Why don't you think Army will make it?
Army has no shot. I mean, they're 9-0. They're 9-0 and they're 24th in the nation here. Behind
they got a game against Notre Dame upcoming, right?
I agree with you. I still don't think that's going to push him in.
I love their quarterback. He's hurt though. If he's got to get healthy. If he gets hurt, man, you can't.
As long as Boise's in front of them, they got no shot. But then again, that brings up Washington State, who is now in a Pac-2 conference. Are they considered a G5 at this point? Because they're 8-1. They're number 18. Like, if Boise stumbles, does Washington State get the bid over Army?
If Army beats Notre Dame, you're looking at an undefeated Army and a 2-loss Notre Dame. Got to put Army in. I want to see.
Should they won't? Notre Dame would fall out, but that doesn't mean Army.
Before he got hurt, he was the best. I think he was the best quarterback. One of the best quarterbacks.
What was his name? Bryson Daly or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. He's been hurt the last couple of weeks.
I've lived in a world where an undefeated UCF team got shut out of the playoffs. So I feel for Army.
We just went through this with Florida State.
And Florida State.
We've all lived that world.
Florida State's a power. Florida State and Army are different. Florida State undefeated Power 5 conference. That's UCF Army undefeated G5 conference. They're different. They're same but different. They're same but different.
How are you leaving? That's the thing. UCF, there was 4 teams when they were undefeated, right? There was a 14 playoff? How you leave them out of the playoffs? You gotta give them a shot.
Especially when you won't schedule them and you won't put them in your conference until it's too late, obviously. So, all right, we got to move on here. Let's talk some more college football and preview some of the games. We got 5 games on the docket here. First one, we'll talk about the big game. It's Tennessee and Georgia right now. Georgia is a home favorite of 9.5. Total hovering around 47.5 in this one. This is playoff football right now because, like we just talked about for the last 10 minutes, Georgia loses, they're out. In my opinion, I think they're out. 3-loss SEC team. I'm gonna say your win or go home, do or die, whatever you want to call it, must win. Georgia. We had them pegged as the best team last year. This year, Carson Beck, Heisman favorite. Like, I get it. I know they have a big win against Texas on the road. They have losses to the 2 teams ahead of them. I get it, but this is another team to be ahead of them. I get it. I understand the SEC apologists want a 3-loss team in there, but this to me is just an elimination game if Georgia loses. If Tennessee loses, then we're just creating more chaos in the SEC. But like, again, right now, UGA, 9.5-point favorites. Total in this one, 47.5. My lean is towards Georgia. I feel like the desperation is there on top of the fact that they are a better team than Tennessee. I don't think they're the best team in the nation. I don't think right now they deserve to play in a title game, but I do believe that they are going to beat Tennessee. The question is it double digits or not?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I actually opened up the piggy bank for this. I did take Georgia minus 9.5. All the reasons you laid out, their back is against the wall. They have all the talent. They have to have this win. So, but the main reason too is we don't know if Nico's going to play, and obviously Tennessee's being coy about it this week. And even if he does play, he's been kind of bad this year. First couple of games he looked real good and caught me. I jumped on the bandwagon. I think I missed a couple of games with them too, with him playing. But if he doesn't play, they got some 5th-year fresh walk-on freshman who's familiar with the coach would be their starting quarterback. It's a big drop off. If he does play, he's already hasn't been playing very well. He's beat up, so I think that Tennessee, they got a great defense. They got the potential number 1 pick of the draft still, but I think everything lining up here for Georgia to kind of play the desperation game, come out on fire, doing what they have to do to solidify their chance and not be put in this discussion of the three-loss playoff team. So they need a win. They need a good win on their resume as well. So this would certainly qualify. So today the line was still 9.5. It may come down a little if they rule Nico in come game time, or if he's ruled out, it could balloon up. So I decided to jump on the 9.5 right now. Take Georgia to win and cover.
Now, if Tennessee somehow does find a win in here, obviously I know they're going to be in the playoffs. It's all a matter of seeding at that point. But does a statement win against Georgia erase that ugly loss against Arkansas? It's got to, right?
I mean, it's got to play a role. Yeah, I think it's got to mean something. I mean, a lot of these teams have ugly losses throughout the year, and you just kind of, the old adage was, if you did it early enough in the year, you could people would forget about it. You wanted to get your ugly. If you were going to lose, you needed your ugly loss early and not late because you wouldn't be as penalized for it. So yeah, absolutely. Alabama's got a couple ugly losses, I believe. So they're not the only team with ugly loss on their resume.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, my head says Georgia. My heart says I want Tennessee. I want Tennessee to win the game, but I also believe that they can cover this one. And Georgia hasn't shown me anything impressive. Like, I understand a 15-point win at Texas is something to be proud of, but every week they show me that they let these teams that are allegedly inferior to them just hang around. And finally, it caught up to them with Ole Miss.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd like to see Tennessee win too. I'm not cheering for this team, Georgia, but I like Tennessee. I'd like to see them make a run this year, but I just think the way everything's going, I kind of Georgia. I'm ready for you to hurt me again. Wouldn't be the first time this year. I hit them right away in the first game with Clemson against Clemson. Then I've just been losing every other game I've lost with them. I think Alabama. I think I had them Ole Miss. I don't remember, but yeah, I've lost like my last 3 or 4 bets on Georgia for sure. So I'm ready to be hurt again. Carson Daly Beck, whatever the hell your name is. You're not a Heisman winner now.
What a reference, Carson Daly, man.
Yeah.
Is that guy still doing anything?
I think he's like the old hair. Yeah, he's like the old the guy with the black hair, Casey Keenum. No, he does like
Casey Kasem, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think he does like the top 40 stuff. I hear him when I heard him on a radio when I was driving on some road trip. One of those countdowns.
Carson Daly.
Yeah, Carson Daly Beck. He's more like Carson Daly than Carson Palmer. Stinks this year.
Very good, very good. But he can announce music videos.
Yeah, go announce your music videos. Do something for God's sake. It's supposed to be the number one pick.
I wouldn't take him now. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's move on to another potential number one pick. Utah at Colorado, and Shadur's on the field, and he is must-see TV. Utah looking to be a spoiler at this point. Current line, Colorado home favorite, 11.5. Total in this one, 45.5. Colorado 7-2 straight up and against the spread. They've suffered some early. This is the team that, like you were kind of talking, you got your losses out early. They lost to Nebraska and they lost to Kansas. They lost to Kansas State, but they are in the fast track for the Big 12 championship game. If they win out, they are in against BYU, and all that stuff we just talked about comes into play. With possible undefeated BYU, Colorado 12 championship.
Thank you.
But 11.5 points is a lot to cover, especially what we saw at Utah last week. They almost beat BYU. They took them to the wire. Should have beat BYU. I don't know how
they got screwed big time. That fourth down play. I mean, that was ridiculous. How did they make that call is absurd. They sack him in the end zone and then they come down and hit it. So I mean, I'm happy. I'm cheering for BYU, but that was ridiculous.
So bad the AD even came out and said they got screwed. How are we feeling about Utah and Colorado right
now? That's an early game. I think it's a 9 a.m. start this week. So I think I'm thinking it could be. I feel like they could come out a little sleepy, possibly. Possible under is Rising. You might have said this is Cam Moon Rising playing.
No, he's been injured / benched. They're out. He's out.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you gotta. I'm a little scared because Utah, they want to play spoiler at this rate, I would assume, and they should feel a little slighted after last week's debacle to BYU, so they could come out playing a little strong here. But I'm not getting in front of the wagon. I'm not getting in front of that Colorado truck. Deion and his sons. Oh man, did you see the clip with his son going into the ball boy? I did.
The whole celebration section went up. Now, I'm not quite sure, in defense of the team, I'm not quite sure if I understand the ball boy, trying to do his job, but he probably could have let.
I don't know why he tried to take it out of his hands. That's what I'm saying. That was a little much, but still, you can't lay hands on him. Some guy in street clothes comes along.
There's some random dude filming the celebration, and then pushes the bottom, dude. It's issues like that make the general public dislike this squad, this program, Coach Prime. It's
just stop. Shadur Sanders, he's such an elite talent, but God, just stop being such an asshole to people. It's like the 5th time this year he's been just a complete prick for no reason, and I don't really get it. So
I'm curious how that's going to affect him with draft stock. But back on this game, you're right. It's an early start here. I feel like I want to fade the Utah. I feel like at 4-4, I know they weren't going to win a Big 12 title, which is unfortunate because I had them. Things have just gone so poorly for them this season, and I know that Utah BYU, obviously a rivalry.
It could be a big letdown too.
Obviously, a game they want to win. I feel like it's a big letdown spot. This feels like a 28-10 Coach Prime victory. That's how I'm feeling it. I couldn't pull the trigger. You're right, but I'm not getting in front of that Buffalo bus.
Me neither. All signs pointing to Colorado. They're playing great right now, and despite what I just said about the quarterback, I want to see him in there. I want to see him in the playoffs. I want to see the show that follows the Colorado Buffaloes right now. It'll be exciting to watch. So Hopefully he has them dialed in, and they has them. They're like you said, 7-2 against the spread. I'm not betting against it, that for sure. I might find a bet on this, but I might be able to talk myself into this when it's 9 a.m. and I'm getting the TVs ready to put the games on. Oh, maybe I could try cheering for Colorado here, but
I need an excuse I need an excuse to say this one was requested.
Yeah.
You just brought something up. You are a microcosm for the people of America that says, if this, I mean, obviously, I think their only path to the playoff is winning the Big 12, but I can't put a 7-3 or a 3-loss Colorado team in the playoff. But sometimes the playoff committee just goes with what they think will sell tickets, not what they think is the best option.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Florida State.
Yeah, that's true. Who knows what the hell these guys are thinking and what will get them to make their decisions. But I think the only way the only way they do that is if BYU beats them or something like that in a championship game. So, but that being said, I think we're going to get that we'll get that
matchup for sure.
Yeah, that matchup. So.
All right, Texas and Arkansas. This is a game I am on at this point. Texas 12.5-point road favorites. Total in this one 57.5. I'll just full disclosure, I am on Arkansas plus the points. They have a chance to play spoiler here. Texas, you may agree with me, you may not. I know we've had an argument about Texas and Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers has looked good. Don't get me wrong. But Texas as a whole, to me, just hasn't looked like the best SEC team, like one of the best teams in the nation. They just look very slightly above average. So I'm going to take the home dog in this one, grab the 12.5 points, open up the piggy bank, 11 to win 10, and I'm going with the dog, Pig Suey here.
All right. Yeah, Texas hasn't been able to blow teams out like they have in the past, so I could see something like that happening. I think they've looked fine. They went to the Big House, beat Michigan. Quinn Ewers, he's a game manager. He's played fine. He's not great. Arch Manning hasn't been able to. Arch Manning has had his chances. I know our friend Sammy thinks he just deserves to be handed the job outright, even though when he's had his opportunities, he hasn't been able to put a stranglehold on it, either in game or at practice. So, Ewers, I think, when Ewers has shown, like we said before, he goes into hostile environments, plays decent, helps the team win. So, I could see. I'm not opposed to not wanting to lay a number with this Texas team, but I do think that I think they look the best team in the SEC. Maybe not the country. Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State probably all look a little bit better. But I don't think they look worse than Alabama, Tennessee, Ole Miss, Georgia. I think they look better than all those teams.
Well, I mean, Georgia beat them, so it's tough to say that in their dome at that point. But you're right. You line up these SEC teams on neutral fields, and it's like I feel like it's any given Saturday. I mean, South Carolina's coming out of nowhere. We'll talk about them here in a little bit as well. But fun fact here, they are battling as first-time members where they're both members of the SEC. But they have these two teams have played 80 times in the past as members of South Conference and Southwest Conference. Texas 56-23 all time. But Arkansas has won the last two meetings, including 2021 in Fayetteville, 41-20. Now, that's a different Texas team, obviously. But maybe there's some historical significance there. And, Arkansas fans are not going to let Texas there's not going to be a quiet place for them to just run their offense. So,
yeah,
I like the dog here. I'm wondering if I'm getting a bad line having to pick it on Thursday, if this thing could creep up to 13.5, 14, I don't know. But if you like it, maybe wait, see if you can get to 13. If it drops down to 12, just take it again because it's effectively the same line at that point.
You got me thinking about one of your famous 3-team 10-point parlays or teasers here with Colorado, Georgia, and Texas. That's how desperate I am to find a win. It might be something right there.
Well, there's a lot of show left. If you feel like it, you can put that in. But we'll move on, wrap up the last two games here. I don't have a ton to say on these games, but Missouri and South Carolina is the only top 25 matchup, and it is a matchup where Missouri could be effectively knocked out of the playoffs, even though we kind of figure they are at this point. Brady Cook not going to play, seems unlikely to play. South Carolina, 14-point home favorite in this one, total 41.5. It's unfortunate that the Gamecocks have 3 losses already, that they were pretty brutal in the beginning of the season, because they are the hottest team in the SEC right now. It's insane to think about. But what are your thoughts on this one? Laying 2 touchdowns. I can't get behind Missouri, even though I want to, because they were the team I had. They're 8-2 right now.
Yeah, they just get hit with the injury bug, and their offense, that high flying offense from last year, just hasn't been the same this year, and they've been probably one of the most disappointing. One of the disappointing teams in the SEC, to say the least. I think we both expected them to kind of be there competing at the end of the year, and that's just hasn't been the case for them. Can't seem to overcome the injuries. Can't seem to find that offense that was so prolific last year. So I wouldn't want to get in front of South Carolina. I don't know if I'd want to lay 2 touchdowns on it with a team like South Carolina, especially with a total as low as 41.5. But I'm not betting Missouri. You can't get me to bet Missouri either.
That's true. It's a tough spot. I have a preseason bet on Missouri over 9.5 wins, and if they can somehow find a way to get 2 of the 3, I mean, I think they can beat Mississippi State. So really, it's just beat South Carolina or beat Arkansas. I don't know if I really feel comfortable on either of those at this point. No bet, but I'll hold my nose and take Missouri and 2 touchdowns in that spot. All right, last college game here, Virginia at Notre Dame. Obviously, this isn't an exciting game or a sexy game. Obviously, Notre Dame, 23.5-point favorites total in this one, 50.5. But if Notre Dame does struggle, this could be something that's looked at by the selection committee. Do you see a chance Virginia at 5-4 can hang with Notre Dame, who's just been wrecking people lately? Obviously, the Florida State game, whatever. But Navy was supposed to be a matchup, killed them. Georgia Tech, who slayed Miami, killed them. Stanford, I mean, they've just been – I understand the NIU loss is going to be a black eye on this resume, but they have done everything in their power to eliminate that black eye from the resume by just beating the brakes off people.
Well, I mean, to answer your question, of course, I could see any team hanging with them after. I mean, you just don't forget about the NIU loss. Like you see a team go down as what were they 28-point favorite or something like that in that game. So you know there's potential there for somebody for a team like Virginia to hang with them. But Riley Leonard went from potentially getting benched earlier in the year to playing really, really good lately. So Notre Dame, I'm minus 23.5. You'd expect them to lay a number on a team like Virginia here, but I can't I can't forget that one little mishap that you never know if it could happen again. So I don't know what it is about Notre Dame. I just want them to lose all the time. So, but yeah, I think I think they're gonna be in the playoffs. Obviously, they're killing everybody they play. They're even if they lose to Army, I still think they got a good chance to get in there. So, that's one I want to see. I want to see that. That'll be a fun matchup. I was a little disappointed. I thought our guy Corbath could hang with them last week, but Navy, they've fallen off lately. So, but if I had to bet this, I'd probably lay the number with Notre Dame, especially getting under 24. But I'm not gonna bet it.
Yeah, it's a spot here where Virginia is 3-1 on the road, and they've had a lead in every game they've played, but it's led them to 5-4 record at this point. Yeah, I would hang the number 2, but you're right. Notre Dame, in the back of your mind, like, this is the week I finally get back on the Notre Dame train, and they pull an NIU.
Yeah, and even if I don't think they'll lose a game, but they could. They just play with their food a little bit. Riley Leonard regresses again. I don't trust him that much. The coach, I don't really trust. It's just, you could see them. You could see it be a tie game at halftime all of a sudden or something like that, and you're just like, God dang it. You didn't have to do this.
Why did I do this? Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Vegas Square Gambling Show will roll on, guys. We'll take a quick commercial break here. When we come back, NFL preview, and then, of course, your favorite segment of the show is the picks. Let's pay some bills, put you to commercial. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes here in the Vegas Square Gambling Show.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
America, get back on track with Dust Pods Performance Stabilizer. When applied to roadways, it kills dust and strengthens the integrity of the road. Easily applied by mixing with water. Dust Pods is the future in polymer stabilization. Call 1-833-DUST-PODS or visit dustpods.com today.
All right, welcome back into the Vegas Square Gambling Show here live every Thursday at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Myself and the Mush Thomas Dietz are back. And, of course, shout out to Sammy Action. I know he had a tough week, and I know he's got stuff to do with his family right now, so hope everything's going well with him. And we do have his picks, so hopefully he can turn it around, get that back over into that four-figure mark. He's only $90 down. He's hovered really close to that 1,000 mark, including, like, obviously going above it. But, shout out to Sam. I mean, he may be the only one that gets above that mark, but hopefully with positive thoughts and some good bets, we can all get back into that spot here. Tom, let's talk about the NFL here. Just we missed you last week, so just kind of your thoughts on what's going on in the NFL, just as a whole. Like, I know there's been some suspect calls, crazy plays. The Chiefs keep winning somehow, some way.
The theme of the whole season is just now it's even more tilting because, like, they've shown the NFL has finally come out of their caveman stance and, like, shown an ability to fix some things in real time. Like, if the spot is wrong, you'll all of a sudden hear, oh, New York called and they fixed the spot, or if somebody drops a pass that was called a catch, they'll be like, they'll review it in real time. And it seems like it's so easy, and yet they refuse to do it on, like, other things. And
pivotal moments.
We'll have this like I said, just this ridiculous thing where a referee goes and looks at the angles, and they've already came out and said they don't have certain angles that the fans do. What? How is that even possible?
Why would that? Why
theme of the year
have something that you don't?
Yeah, the theme of the year is year after year the product just dilutes and is like we just get more and more frustrated, but we still love it. How do the Chiefs keep winning? How does it keep happening? This is just crazy. Chiefs voodoo is stronger than, I don't know. I don't remember the Brady voodoo being this crazy, where it's just everybody is just shell shocked. Started with the Ravens last year in the AFC title game where they abandoned everything that they were good at for the whole year, and then it's carried over to this season. So how do they keep doing it? They keep doing it, though, and hats off to them. They find ways to find ways to win. So, but I think that the Lions have, to me, I think the Lions are the best team in football. Eagles looked good tonight against Washington there, but I can't get, Jared Goff just had 5 interceptions, but to me, I think I'd still take Jared Goff in the playoffs over Jalen Hurts at this point. So yeah, to me, obviously the Chiefs are up there, but the other teams are the Lions, Eagles, and Ravens, and the Bills. They've seemed to be separating themselves a little bit here as we hit the home stretch, start to hit the holiday season, last month or so of regular season football.
No love for Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson and the Steelers, huh? No love.
Yeah, I picked him up in 2 fantasy leagues this year, or this week, because I had Dak. So I'm hoping Mr. Unlimited can relive. I hope that he does well for my sake.
I hate to use this word because it makes me literally do the thing that the word is, but that Mr. Unlimited video was so cringe.
He's cringe. Everything he does is cringe. It's weird.
Said play football. He's doing that pretty well right now. That is a big game that we will get into here very soon, but we're going to start week number 11 with your team. The matchup, Green Bay at Chicago. Green Bay, a road favorite of 5.5. Total in this one, 40. Chicago's just a mess. Fire their offensive coordinator. Matt Eberflus is probably also on his way out. My favorite thing that happened this week in the NFL is that people keep posting the meme that Caleb Williams texted the Bears punter and said, "You're not really going to have to work this year." And he has more punt yards than Caleb has passing yards. So what a great meme. Keep sharing that if you haven't seen it, or if you do get to see it, just keep sharing that around. But
now they have reports of the backup Bagert or whatever his name is. Last year, his dad was feeding information that the players wanted him over Fields. Apparently, he's doing the same thing this year. He's like leaking social media, people saying that the players want this Bagert guy. He looks good in preseason, I'll give him that. But saying they want him over Caleb Williams, which is just insanity to me. So they got a whole lots of problems in that house, which is, pretty much par for the course for the Bears. So,
well, and I said it from day one. If you're Chicago, I get it. People love Justin Fields, but you have to draft Caleb Williams. You had to move on from Justin Fields because he gives you the exact same production. He comes at a far cheaper rate. So it made the most sense, but I never believed that Caleb Williams was the prophecy, the answer, all the things he was demanding, team ownership, this, that, and the other, side deals, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, on the field, I'd like to think this is not going to become a lost season for Chicago. Obviously, they're far and away the fourth best team in the NFC North. We know that. It's not a competition at this point for them to make a play.
They might not win another game this season. Their schedule is pretty tough.
That's also possible, this one. But, I mean, you could argue Green Bay's 2 best wins so far are with Malik Willis.
Yeah, well, the Green Bay's had a really weird and interesting season. I know you're not the biggest Jordan Love fan, but he's been fighting these injuries. I still think he's he's been hurt, and it's very apparent in his play. But the injuries that the Love injury has been the big thing that people are talking about. But for Green Bay, the 2 injuries that are the biggest for them, that have been the biggest for them so far this year, since they've won the games that Love has went out, has been their cornerback Jair Alexander and their superstar 4th-round draft pick Evan Williams. Shout out to, I think it was Chris Long, who had a drink. And there's a lot of times I have Evan Williams right here in front of me. Today I went vodka, but it was a pretty funny clip that Evan Williams Chris Long poured a glass of Evan Williams and took down a nice healthy shot on Fox Sports or something like that. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked, but those 2 players were hurt in the Minnesota game. Jair was hurt, and last week both of them were out. And unfortunately, for our secondary, our defense is fantastic. Need a little bit more of the pass rush. But if those 2 are out in the back end, it's really, really tough on this defense because they make our secondary, our safety group, really, really great. Xavier McKinney is one of the front runners for Defensive Player of the Year. Obviously, if he got hurt, it'd be the same thing. But we cannot afford to miss anybody in that secondary because if one of those guys goes down, we just are missing. The defense doesn't look the same. And Malik Willis has, Matt LaFleur has coached him up real well when Malik has been in there. And the offense, despite all these weird drops. So it's just been a weird year in offense. Josh Jacobs looks great. Dontavian Wicks catch the freaking ball. Love decision-making poor, but he's got the talent. He still finds ways to usually find a win. But I think Green Bay still, if they stay healthy, they can get healthy, and everybody practiced this week. If they can get healthy, they still could, force their way into that upper level in the NFC. I think so. I'm not betting this game this week just because I want to see how Love looks. There were reports he could be missing a couple weeks, but he'll play. But I want to see him start to get healthy before I'm actually willing to bet on this team.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder if, like, early in the season when he went down, obviously it was the first game, if they would have just held him out and Malik Willis could have somehow 500 it or something like that, like, could we be looking at week 10 here, with a healthy Jordan Love coming back?
Yeah.
But you have to look at these situations here. I'm looking at the records here. Chicago 4-1 at home, straight up. Like, that's nothing to slouch at. But Jordan Love wants to make a statement, at least in my eyes. Aaron Rodgers was Chicago's daddy for like 15 years. Like, can
Matt LaFleur is 10-0 against the Bears too.
Yeah, like, can Jordan Love be stepdaddy at this point?
Stepdaddy, new daddy.
New daddy, yeah, I'm your new daddy. Like, This is the perfect time for Green Bay to get right. I know they're 6-3, but they're third in the NFC North at 6-3. It's insane, but
yeah,
they can't afford to lose. They got to keep winning.
Well, the only the injury he hurt him. He didn't re-aggravate his injury either. Like, he hurt it was a new injury when he got hurt against the Jaguars, and then he tried to play through it last week against and in the rain like that. Oh, I think they probably should have sat him, but it was such a big game, and it's your quarterback. He wants to get out there and play, and as your coach, you trust him. So, but in hindsight, it might have been a better idea to protect him from himself in that rainy weather like it was against Detroit. So, but yeah, I think. Again, I'm too invested in my own team here to bet to speak non-biasedly about it. But I think that they should lay a number on Chicago. But it's all one of these guys goes. Jair Alexander goes down in the first quarter, all bets are off. You know what I mean?
Well, unfortunately, that's not the way betting works. All bets will still be on. I opened the piggy bank on the Packers in a teaser spot here. I also do like them plus or minus 5.5, but I took the teaser. Packers plus a half. I know cross to 0, but I mean, come on, let's be honest, plus a half. And then, of course, the Vikings down to a pick 'em. So basically a modified Wong teaser in this spot. So I got your boys in the game in this region here, or even tying is fine.
I got the Vikings on upset alert this week.
Ooh, you're not alone there, but given your track record, I feel good about it.
Yeah, I don't like either of them. I don't like anything you did there. So, congratulations. You should definitely get a win there.
Let's remind the folks of the piggy bank, even with the week off.
Did you look at the money line parlays? What's the difference in that bet versus a money line parlay?
I'll have to look at it. It's probably pretty similar, but I mean, what's the difference?
I'm guessing that with especially Green Bay being minus 5.5. And on the road, he probably might have got a better price, money line parlay him. That's what we do here. We give good gambling advice, and then we give you bad picks. So
hey, I've got the tie. Just in case Green Bay ties. I've got the tie.
Money line parlay price.
All right, let's move on here. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. Baltimore 3-point road favorites. Total in this one 48. I came across a stat today. That this matchup in the Harbaugh-Tomlin era, so since I believe it's like 2010 or 11, this matchup has been decided by one score, 5 points or less in 80% of the matchups. One way or the other, Baltimore or Pittsburgh wins the game, but 5 points or less. Now, obviously that doesn't help you with a 3-point spread here, but I did open the piggy bank with this one as well. I am going to Baltimore is one of the best first-half teams. Pittsburgh is one of the best second-half teams. I looked at maybe a double result here. Ultimately, I couldn't pull the trigger because I'm not sure if Pittsburgh can win or not. I definitely they can win the game. I'm not sure if they will win the game. But Baltimore Ravens first-half money line. I thought about going minus 1.5, but I paid the extra 15 cents just to take that point, and I'm laying 140 on a Baltimore first-half money line in this spot.
Interesting angle. I'm excited for this game.
Me too.
And this is not your typical Baltimore Pittsburgh type. Like, these teams, they can put up this might be
Sure.
a shootout. Both of their. I was gonna bet Pittsburgh, or I was gonna open up the piggy bank just on principle, getting 3.5 with Tomlin at home. But the bookend, Alonzo Highsmith, the bookend to TJ Watt over there, is out. So I stayed away. But on the flip side, Kyle Hamilton might be out for Baltimore, which could make that even, that he's one of their best defensive players too. So both those guys are out. Man, I don't know what to make of this. It could get a little wonky, but I think the total's 48.5. I could see this going over. With Russ and George Pickens connecting how they are, you got MVP Lamar Jackson doing it again. Like, you think after last year's playoff debacle, how could he win another MVP? God, he is just he is the odds-on favorite, and what he does is just nobody in the NFL can do what he does. And teaming him up with somebody like Derrick Henry seems to be, Baltimore. They look like the real deal again this year if they can stay healthy on defense. This one I could find. I'm probably going to try to find a way to tease. Just on the stat you put up with the one score game and all that, trying to get Pittsburgh to +10, I think is a good one. But again, this is usually low scoring affairs. So with us being able to expect a little bit of a higher scoring game, can we expect the same low score or a tight knit game? I don't know. I think it'll be fun to watch. I'm trying to talk myself in a bet here, but I think I just kind of want to watch it and enjoy the fireworks that should ensue with these two historic franchises.
Take the Sammy action approach and just watch the game. I have learned in my days now I can't watch a football game without action.
Yeah. Sometimes it's refreshing. I watched last week I watched a bunch.
I can watch college football without action. NFL maybe not so much here, but yeah, I lean towards Baltimore just being ahead in the first half. We know Pittsburgh's a second half team, so yeah, maybe catching. If this king can go up I just don't see this line moving off 3. Like, the line being what it is just drives bettors crazy, because if you're a Pittsburgh backer, you're hoping it gets to 3.5. If you're a Baltimore backer, you're hoping it gets to 2.5. Like,
yeah, it's never going to 2.5. But the minute it gets, I think it's showed 3.5 a few times this week, and it's just got hammered right back down.
Yeah,
the minute it does, I think what they'll likely do is it'll be like a 3 with juice, -3, -120 on the plus side or something like that.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that line movement goes throughout the next couple of days. It'll be an interesting spot here, but open up the piggy bank, 14 to win 10 on Ravens first half money line. Moving into Jacksonville at Detroit, we talked about this one here. I have a play on this one in a teaser, and I know you have one as well with this matchup. 14-point favorite here are the Detroit Lions. 47 is the total. Last time we saw Detroit, they had to squeak by. They played, like you said, the 5-interception game from Jared Goff. They played one of their worst offensive games in a long time, and they still found a way to get a win because, like you said, and I tend to agree with you, they are probably the best as a whole team in the NFL right now. They come back, they get a matchup against Jacksonville, who just loves to apparently just get slapped around. 0-5 at home, 1-4 against the spread. 0-5 away, 1-4 against the spread away, and that one cover was ironically against the Texans. Yeah, I see a spot where Detroit just, like you said,
They covered against Green Bay. They covered at home against Green Bay. I know this because I lost.
Oh, maybe okay. This one's just showing me 1-4. Well, yeah, covered at home. On the road, they are 0-5 straight up and 1-4 against the spread.
Oh, excuse me.
Were they at home against?
Yeah, they were home against Green Bay. Yeah.
Yeah, they were home against Green Bay. Yeah.
My bad.
That's okay.
No, I like Detroit in this one.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I have a teaser, a college NFL teaser, a crossover here. I know you're going to hate it because you just hate everything about it, but Jacksonville, Detroit over 41 is part of the teaser with Tennessee, UGA over 41 as well. I think Detroit maybe gets this by themselves.
Detroit could, yeah. Tennessee, Georgia over, huh? Why are you thinking that game goes over?
Like I said, I think there's a desperation factor here for you're talking about Tennessee, Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there's a desperation factor here for Georgia. They're at home. I think they can hang 30 by themselves, and I think Tennessee can get me into the 20s. Probably means I don't need to tease it, but you know me, I love them. So
Yeah, Carson. I mean, but like, yeah, just Tennessee's got such a good rush defense, and I don't know if I trust ET or Carson Beck. I hope you're right. I mean, they should. They should have been doing it all year though, so we'll see.
But even if this thing gets to like 23-20, I mean, I still get there.
Yeah, that's true. So no, I think Detroit by 1,000,000 here. I think they had their bad game, they had their scare. I don't really expect a letdown because they really played horrible last game. Wonky turnovers. The defense showed up. We got to give defense credit for that, but no way am I expecting Mac Jones to. Doug Peterson seems to have lost the locker room. Matt Jones. I read or I listened to something. He scored on the first drive last week and started chirping and barking at the other team, and then I think he proceeded to have less yards the remaining three quarters. Then remember the game in COVID, Denver and New Orleans. Denver had to start a wide receiver.
Kendall Henson or something.
That guy had more yards in that game than Matt Jones had after he started chirping at Minnesota last week. So their offense is god awful. They couldn't move the ball at all with Matt Jones, and I don't expect them to be able to move it this week against a Detroit Lion team that gets Zadarius. Zadarius Smith didn't play last week. He was newly acquired last week, but he should be able to help the pass rush after the Hutchinson injury. So, Detroit by 1,000,000. It was 12.5 earlier in the week. It's 14 now. I would say get it now because it's going to be one-way action for this one. I expect it to get over 14 by game time, and I expect them to cover it. I think Lions by 1,000,000.
I love it. I mean, you look at the Detroit schedule, and I don't want to get too far off on this, but you look at Detroit's schedule, and you could argue there's some lucky wins in here. Obviously, Houston, Green Bay. That game was in rain. I don't know what you make of that, but it was an outdoor game that actually was able to be an equalizer. Obviously, we know Detroit, Jared Goff in outdoor games aren't necessarily his forte. Tennessee, it felt like they started with the ball on the 5-yard line every drive.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
I started Jared Goff in fantasy that week. They had I looked at halftime and they had like 35 points, and I'm like, oh, Goff must be killing it. He had 28 yards. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Every drive started the Titans 5. That's what it was, man. So, you take out the Dallas game and probably the Tennessee game, and they've got a couple of scrappy, lucky wins. So I don't know. I don't think Jacksonville's the team that's going to put them on upset alert. But
I think you've talked me into it. I'm trying to get. I want to get close to 1,000. I want my 1,000 back. I'm going to go against what I preach here, and I'm going to say, let me up my bet on this one. I love it. I think we're getting line value here. I think by Sunday the line will be over 14 points. Let me change my $11 bet to a $55 bet.
Yowza.
This worked out so well for me last time, meaning it didn't work out at all. I'm going to try it again. We got to, you challenged me earlier. You said, I don't think you got any shot to get to 1,000. I don't think you said those exact words, but that's how I interpreted it. So we're gonna try to dig out of this hole with this bet right here. Instead of our normal 11, we're gonna make it 55 to win 50. Get back on the right track. We're gonna close out this year in the positive.
I hope so. I hope we all do. I mean, that's kind of the point of it. We want to be somewhat credible.
That's the goal, yeah.
And that would be a hell of a major comeback. You have a tough 8 whatever weeks. You take a week off and you just come back like freaking fire.
So let's do it.
All right, 55. Moving in. 55. You got it. It's locked in. Cleveland and New Orleans. Cleveland going to New Orleans. Jameis Winston, former team. New Orleans a slight home favorite. Total on this one 45. I believe we're both on this one. I have this in a 3-team 6-point teaser. I have Browns +7 in this one. Although I think I don't know if it's really upset alert, but I think Cleveland walks in there and beats them. I
think the game's getting down to a pick 'em at this point. That's why I like grabbing that. I also have the Browns in a teaser in this one as well. I'm with you there.
All right, we'll move into the game of the week.
All right, hold on. Sorry, I thought I didn't realize we were done with that game. The teaser I have it with is I'm doing the same game teaser.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think New Orleans, they had their dead cat bounce last week against I don't know if I'm saying that right, against Atlanta. But they're losing. They have nobody on the offensive line again. They have no receivers. Atlanta had no pass rush for them. I expect Cleveland to be able to get to Derek Carr, and when he gets pressured, he's bad. So plus you have the Jameis going back to New Orleans aspect of it. He could throw a couple picks either way, but I have the Browns minus or +1 in the game for 11, and then my teaser is Browns +7, and then I tease the total up to 50.5 because I don't think either team will really hang a number. I think the defense. I don't think Jameis is going to put up 30, and I don't know if the Saints get the 17 against this Browns defense. So I took that as a same game teaser too.
Yeah, I agree with you. And their rush defense stinks. They're one of the worst in the league. They traded Marshawn Lattimore. Now I know he was hurt, but that just feels like a punt, in that spot. So
yeah, they had their emotion game. I think that the Browns should be able to win this game. But even if Jameis does Jameis things, I expect the game to be low scored and within a score for Cleveland at least.
I agree. Yeah, I like the Browns in this spot too. I'll take a touchdown. All right, moving into the game of the week here. Bills are hosting the Kansas City Chiefs, the aforementioned Chiefs, who just keep winning. And I'm about to break pretty much every rule I've ever said because for whatever reason, I'm stubborn and I don't get it. Buffalo, 2.5-point favorites in this one, total 46.5. I said that Mahomes has reached Brady territory. I'm either on him or I'm not betting that game, but I don't listen, and I have Bills money line -130. I have the Bills in that teaser. I'm crossing the zero again in that same teaser with the Browns. I've got the 4.5, +4. That's coupled with the Sunday night game, Bengals +7.5 as well. And I also have Bills team total over 23.5 at -110, 11 to win 10. So I have a lot of Bills action going on this week. And like I said, I talked about it last week with Sammy. I said I hate everything about Brian Kelly, and yet I still bet the mofo, and he bit me in the ass. So I feel like more of the same this week, or what do you think?
I lost $5 to Cowboy in this stupid game. Yeah, I'm with you. I have the Bills. I have the Bills -2.5. I just the luck. I mean, we're both Action Network guys. We listen to and read Action Network, and they have what's called the luck rankings. Doesn't get I mean, it's Mahomes voodoo. I think what you're alluding to when you're saying don't bet against Mahomes, like don't bet against him as a dog, and this would certainly qualify as that. Like
right.
he doesn't cover spreads. Like he doesn't. Like Denver was a great bet last week. Like that was just the +9.5 of Denver. Like a defense like Denver's too. That was just a great bet to make. But it was
KC's going to be undefeated. You better cover this one. So.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Like you don't have to bet Mahomes as a dog because he just finds ways to get things done, and they're getting a little bit healthier now too. But I think the Bills are just a better team. Dalton Kincaid getting hurt really sucks because I think he's going to be important for what they do. But he might. I read that today that he might be able to play, but with a cast on, I don't really know how that's going to work. So, but yeah, the Chiefs are 9-0, and I have them like the third best team in the AFC right now, which is crazy.
Well, you look at it. I mean, Buffalo and Denver aren't too far apart in their differences. Great defenses. The difference is Buffalo obviously has a much better offense.
Yeah. The injuries excuse me. I think Buffalo might be missing their right tackle, I believe, too. So that could really play into it. But if the tackle goes and Kincaid goes, I like the Bills to win this game. They're at home. They're a chance for them to make a statement here. And I just, more than anything, we don't expect any team to go undefeated any year. So I just think the luck has to run out a little bit for the Chiefs. And I think this is the week it does.
Yeah, I got Buffalo 24, Kansas City 22 in this one. So give me the money line and give me that teaser. So I'll take that. And, of course, the team total, I'd like them to score more. I don't want to sweat a team total, but I'll take 24 works for me. So, all right, Sunday Night Football, Cincinnati and Los Angeles. I know the flex rules, blah, 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 but I wish this game would have gotten flexed with that Buffalo KC game. But nevertheless, this game was supposed to be a high-profile game, and it still is. I mean, Cincinnati's fighting for their life, 4-6 straight up, 6-4 against the spread against LA. Justin Herbert, 6-3, like you said. I mean, they're not giving. They're right on the tails of the Chiefs. If the Chiefs would just friggin' lose, LA could be, a contender for the AFC West. LA, are you surprised they're a 1.5 or a 1.5 home favorite in this one?
No, not at all. The coaching discrepancy just speaks volumes. And when Herbert's healthy, which he's playing better now this year, I think he's gotten a little healthier. Like, we're not that far removed from Herbert and Burrow being considered equals. And right. I would say, I think this year Herbert's played better than Burrow. And to me, I mean, it's just Jim Harbaugh. He's an incredible coach, and he's got them playing great defense, ball control. They should be able to run right down this poor Bengal defense. I thought about teasing the Bengals up, but I've just been burned with these teasers so much this year. Once I think it was I teased Denver against since the Chargers and got burned because Herbert went nuclear. And I think that this Charger team, they could put up 35 on this Bengal team. I think they really could. And I think that Jim Harbaugh is in another class of coach than Zach Taylor. And I don't have a bet, but I don't. I think it's a very fair line. I think that the Chargers should win this game.
What makes you feel that he's that much head and shoulders? Is it the national title? Because if you look at their NFL resumes, now I don't know about the wins and losses, but they have achieved the same amount of success. They both went to Super Bowls, won Super Bowl. They both lost that Super Bowl by very slim margins. So in the NFL, they do have similar success stories. Now, obviously,
I don't think Zach Taylor's a good coach. I think Zach Taylor's a really bad football coach.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't.
Just his play calling. He's been bailed out by Burrow and Chase. Basically, I feel like, and he's a bad play caller. He doesn't understand game management. He's can't seem to put together a defense.
His defenses have been terrible the last 2 years.
Yeah. I just and Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh's had much more success than Taylor. What he did with Colin Kaepernick and Alex Smith, and then there was another quarterback he had success with in San Francisco. Like, he was great with the Niners. He's always been considered a bit of a quarterback guru, no matter who he's got. And he's kind of resurrecting Herbert's career a little bit for whatever reason. Herbert was considered better than Burrow for a little while, and I think that injuries and bad coaching and bad talent around him has resulted in him kind of falling off a little bit, obviously. But we're not too far removed from Herbert being considered a consensus top 5 quarterback in the league, and he's kind of slowly taking steps towards being that person again under the tutelage of Jim Harbaugh, who has the track record with the quarterbacks, has a track record with winning, has a track record with success everywhere he's been, either as a coordinator or a head coach at the college or pro level. And Zach Taylor, no, I get it. He went to a Super Bowl. Ironically, he almost got fired the year before he went to the Super Bowl, and then he goes to the Super Bowl, gets a couple more years on it, and now look at what Cincinnati's been the last couple of years. Now I know Burrow's been hurt, but he's just not a good coach in my opinion.
Well, it's funny. He won 300% more games than the guy who he replaced, Marvin Lewis, who was there 20,000 years and won 0 playoff games.
Yeah, well, Marvin Lewis, I mean, he wasn't a great coach either, so that was
that's fair.
So, but yeah, I just Zach Taylor was supposed to be this. He was really, really young, just a little bit in over his head. Comes from the McVay tree, and they thought that he was going to be able to be the next McVay, and he's just not. He's just kind of just a little too young. Maybe in his next, if he gets fired this year, maybe he'll get another chance years down the road after he gets a little seasoning. But as of right now, to me, it's a guy like Harbaugh, the veteran, what he's done throughout his entire coaching career speaks volumes. So, yeah, I think he's a much better coach.
That's fair. I did tease the Bengals up. I think these Sunday night games do tend to remain close. I'll take the touchdown and the hook. to finish out that Bills, Browns, Bengals, the 3B teaser at that point. Touch quickly on this Monday night game. It feels like a snoozer. There's a chance we might get Trey Lance. I think Cooper Rush is in line to start, but
why do we want Trey Lance? Why does he deserve anything? I don't know. Another Sammy. Why do you love this guy so much?
Oh, I don't love Trey Lance.
No. Sammy does. I quit ducking us, Sammy. We want to know why you love Trey Lance so much.
The thing is I feel like if Trey Lance finds his way into this game, whether it's starting or relieving, like this won't be
it'll be bad.
It won't be a spot that's advantageous to him, so we won't learn anything unless he's just absolutely insanely good. I mean, like that preseason game was the craziest stat line I've ever seen.
He played last week and he was awful.
He's correct, but I mean, he's coming in relief. It's a tough spot for. I'm rooting for Cooper Rush. I think Dallas can cover the 7.5 with Cooper Rush. I think there's an overreaction to what happened last week. If Cooper Rush plays, I like the touchdown at home.
He was 5-1 against the spread. He was a 5-1 straight up, I think, before last week. And the Eagles are a wagon right now. They are just really they're putting it together.
Also didn't finish the game either. So, but I mean, Houston right now is. I don't really. I know Houston's 6-4, but there's no reason they should be laying a touchdown to anybody on the road.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Rush should not be fearing for his job. Jerry's losing. All these quotes about the sun. Did you see what he was saying this week?
No, please enlighten me.
He's there's the clip went along. CeeDee Lamb lost the ball in the sun.
The sun. I thought you meant like his kid. Yeah, I did see that.
He builds a stadium, and then it hurts his own players because they can't see the freaking ball because they have all these late games, and they when the sun sets this time of year, he just can't freaking see.
Tear it all down. Let's tear it all down.
He said, "What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Tear the whole stadium down?" He starts barking at a reporter or something like that, maybe as a radio guy. But he's just had enough of these sun questions, and Jerry's losing it, man. He's just like, "What do you want me to do? Tear the stadium down? I can't affect the sun. I don't want to hear about the sun because everybody's
put a curtain on that side for."
Yeah, there's got to be something they can do. But he's going crazy. So, the Giants. I mean, the Cowboys. I think that my guy from Green Bay. God dang it, the coach McCarthy lost. He seems to have lost the locker room. What Micah Parsons said was completely out of line. I wish that they could just ship him out for doing stuff like that. Even if you fire McCarthy at the end of the year, you don't say that as a coach, as a player. You know, saying that he could leave whenever he wants. Like, I know you're the star player, but you got to be better than that. Like that was just ridiculous. So, seems McCarthy may have lost the locker room a little bit, but again, like it's not like this team is void of talent. They've been hit with the injury bug a little bit. And they should, in theory, be able to compete. Cooper Rush has proven to be able to be an adequate backup. So, yeah, I would bet this either way just because on the chance that Trey Lance does come in, he doesn't belong anywhere near a football field. So, but I don't think Houston deserves to lay a touchdown like you.
I feel like if you wait on this, you may get some desperation money going on the Texans. This thing could get to 8.5, and then I would love to be a part of it. Yeah, for sure.
I don't mind teasing this one, but I'm so jaded by teasers this year. Like they've just been so bad. I've just gotten my teeth kicked in. Like that was always one thing that would save me was these Wong teasers. Now they just doesn't matter up, down, sideways, backwards. They just kill me. So.
All right, it is time for the picks section. Everybody's favorite part here. Tom, we will start with you. I have your college picks and pro picks in two separate graphics here. I didn't get a chance to get your fire bet up, so you can list that at the end of your pick segment here. But let's start with you on the pick segment. These are your college picks right now.
Yeah, we talked about Georgia, desperation, under 10 points there. The main handicap for me with this Georgia thing is we don't know if we're getting Nico. I touched on it earlier, and I think even if we do get him, he could be injured. Hawaii is playing one of the worst teams in college football, Utah State. Utah State stinks. I thought about taking the Hawaii team total over, but I know Hawaii does. When they come to the mainland, they're just a little bit different. But, however, I think that they have a chance to get a bowl this year, and they're -2.5 against Utah State. And I think that they've been competitive, and Utah State is really, really bad. I wouldn't mind an over on this one, but I decided given under a field goal. I didn't want any wonkiness, so I just went with what I view as the safer pick, Hawaii minus 2.5. Going back to the well with North Texas. This is a Friday night game, playing UTSA over 72.5. By the way, did you see the clip of North Texas scoring a touchdown last week and then they didn't call it a touchdown?
No, but I was gonna say they didn't put a touchdown on the board. I can tell you that.
Right? Yeah, no, they didn't. Brad Powers. Yeah, you had that over last week. Brad Powers tweeted it just today, and that's where I saw it. Like, I didn't watch the game. The guy scored a touchdown, and they didn't count it, and they didn't review it, and they didn't get it. So, anyways, I think we're getting a little bit of a break in the line, probably, maybe. I mean, it's tough to say you get a break on an over when it's 72.5, but
Big numbers.
Yeah, I think last week was an outlier. This bet has been kind to me through the years, so I'm gonna go back to North Texas over, and I'm also gonna jump on an over with UAB, the Trent Dilfer fighting dipshits, and Memphis over 62.5 points. And UAB can't stop a cold. They really suck under Trent Dilfer. Memphis as that Hennigan is a real good. He was my choice for my long shot choice for Heisman this year. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but there's a team that can still score. On UAB, for all their faults, they have been moving the ball decently, playing at a bit of a higher tempo later on in the year here. So over 62.5 for the last of my college bets there. Pros, I think we touched on all of them. Let's go over them again. I had the Lions minus 1 million, Browns +1, the Bills minus 2.5, and I teased. I went different. I still want to put a little tease in there. Browns and Saints under 50.5 with the Browns +7 for a 6-point teaser.
Yeah, I think earlier in the day that Browns line was 2, but
I think I texted you the wrong number, so that's my fault.
oh, okay, gotcha. I only saw it at 1, but if you find it, hey, it is.
Yeah,
what it is.
no, that was my. When I looked back at the text, I noticed I texted you the wrong number.
Gotcha. And I did have time to type your fire bet up here. Plus 21 and 33. Titan. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, I think all these teams are alive to win. I don't think. I think the Titans of all of them, I like the Titans the best.
Who do they play?
The Vikings.
Oh,
I think the Vikings are coming back down to earth. People are seeing Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has not been the same quarterback he was the first 5 weeks. And the Titans, they got a little something going with Calvin Ridley now. They got Taj Spears back, going back and forth with Tony Pollard. The defense is middle of the pack. They're not a bad defense. And I can certainly see them winning this game outright. Seahawks, they're coming off a bye, got healthy, rivalry game against the Niners. The Niners also getting healthier. But and the Falcons, there's a coin flip game against Denver. So I'll put the three of them together for plus 2,100.
I like it. Yeah, I like that pick. I mean, it's 3 dogs in the NFL. You got a shot here. You always got a shot with that. By the way, shout out to me. I hit the first fire bet last week. So I've long since run out of alcohol. So, but yeah, that's a nice one. Unfortunately, I didn't bet it because that would have probably put me over 1,000. But
the over cashed on how many fire bets would hit this year. So
didn't we have a 0.5? You're right.
Oh, the over comes in. Congratulations, you got it.
Let's shout out to Mike here.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, let's talk Sammy Actions picks here. Let me get back into the thing. All right, Sammy Actions pick college. These are 22 to win 20 for him. Arizona State +9, Florida +4.5, and Kansas +3. And then here we go with everyone's favorite teaser wheel. So I've typed it out here basically. He is, which is crazy because he's Texans, which is Monday Night Football. So he's going to have all these results come in and have to wait all the way until Monday night to see if this teaser actually hits. This is a wild theory. Texans -1.5 paired with, again, if you're not familiar with the wheel, he's basically, once the Texans cover, every single team that he has listed here becomes a second wheel in the teaser. You see it on the screen. Bengals, Chargers, Bills, Chiefs, Seahawks, Niners, Falcons, Broncos, Steelers, Ravens, Dolphins, Raiders, Titans, Vikings, Jags, Lions, and of course Bears and Packers. But
he's guaranteed to go. That's an interesting angle that he does with this because all these are the same games.
Of
So
course,
one of them has to hit. The Bengals or Chargers, the Bills, Chiefs. One of them has to hit. So
he's guaranteed. The Texans is obviously the big thing because that's
what the Texans lose. He loses them all. But if the Texans covers the 1.5, like
he creates a huge middle. He creates like a
he can't. Well, he'll lose the Jews. He could lose the Jews, which would be -1.
If the Texans cover the 1.5,
he loses. It'd still be a significant loss in the Jews even if he goes 50-50, it would still be probably a close to a 2-unit loss with the Jews.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So it'd be like a $36 loss if he's just paying juice at that.
But obviously you get
18. No, because he
18 minus the
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the point being is the Texans better cover for him, or else he's going to be back to your territory at that point.
That is great.
That's what happened to him. I think
that's an interesting angle with it.
Yeah. So, all right. His fire bet parlay 4,400. Come on, get on the screen there.
I see it. It's on there.
There it is. Okay. Florida money line, Missouri money line, Arizona State money line. So 2 of his spread dogs he likes, and then add Mizzou. Like I said, I like Mizzou. I think they're alive. They're a live spot here too. I don't know if I love them enough, like to actually play on them.
He really likes Arizona State. Who's Arizona State playing?
That is a great question. He did not give me that information, so I'll have you look it up while I do my bets here. But all right, so I'll do my bets here. I have, like we talked about in the college section, Arkansas. Arkansas plus 12.5. Maryland minus 5.5. Let me get back to mine over here. Maryland minus 5.5. They're playing Rutgers at home. Miami and Las Vegas in the pros under 44.5, and Bills money line minus 130. We talked about those are my straight bets. I've got teasers, like we said, Tennessee and Georgia over 41.5, Jacksonville, Detroit over 41. That's one teaser. Packers plus 5. No, that can't be right. Plus a half. Excuse me, I missed the. I'd love to have Packers plus 5, but it's actually plus a half. And, of course, Vikings a pick. Either way, Tom loves that teaser. Just ask him. He'll tell you. And then, of course, my 3-team teaser, the 3 Bs, Bengals, Bills, and Browns. Bengals plus 7.5, Bills plus 4, Browns plus 7. I got the 2 props we talked about. Ravens first half money line minus 140. Bills team total over 23.5. And, of course, my fire bet is a parlay that will pay you almost 130 to 1. With Stanford beating Louisville, Navy beating I just lost it. Navy beating Tulane, and Arkansas beating Texas. Let's go. I'm actually betting this one just in case lightning strikes twice.
Yeah, you got it now. You got to bet them all.
You have to.
I don't mind that Miami, Las Vegas under. I think that should be I thought about that one as well.
Yeah, unless Gardner Minshew finds a way to just, stick it to me. You never know. But we'll see what happens. I mean, like I said, I've had 3 straight winning weeks, going for a 4th. Tom's looking to get back on the winning ways, of course, and then of course Sammy with that teaser wheel. The one he hit 2 weeks ago, he hit almost every leg, and then the one he didn't hit last week obviously was his downfall. But hopefully we can all 3 get back in the winning ways, and of course get this thing back up to 4 digits for everybody. # Deetstat, everyone in 4 digits at the end of the year here. All right. You got about 30 seconds before we end the show. You have any final words? You hate my bets, I know, but how do you feel about Sammy's or yours or anything going on?
That's an interesting angle Sammy took there. High risk, high reward. But yeah, I think you're bad. I think, they make sense. I just, you give up value when you do that, which is the name of the game essentially. So, and I would look for the money lines and all that, whatever. I think we'll all win this week.
Let's go. I like the positivity. Hopefully, like you said, we can get all back into the winning column here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank 12 Ounce Sports, of course, for putting us on every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific time. Shout out to mybookie.ag, promo code 12 Ounce Sports. All caps, no spaces for a first-time deposit bonus of up to $1,000. And we'll be back next week to recap the records. or we'll all have shit weeks, and this show will just be over. So
we'll turn it into an NBA show.
Yeah, we'll turn it
Shout
into
out the NBA. What a night in the NBA last night.
Yeah, NBA hockey Vegas Square at that point. So
Giannis with 59, Wemby with 50, LeBron with another triple double.
I don't know this. I don't know this. What you speak of hockey?
These guys.
All right, guys. For Thomas the Mush Deeds, for Sammy Action, myself, I'm Aaron Crouch. Enjoy your sports weekend. Gamble responsibly, and we'll see you guys next Thursday.
See ya.